This is called Follow the Light. I hold hands with a full moon, dance with street lights, meditate with flickering candles, explore with flashlights. I'm a big believer in follow the light, but the sun keeps getting in my way. The problem with the sun is so obvious about everything. Moon moans, look at me, or look at my reflection on a northern lake on a warm late summer's eve. See me rise, surrounded by stars and fireflies. Sun says, look at me, you'll go blind. Sun says, sunsets make beautiful photos. Every morning sun says, move over, I'm in charge here. Every evening sun says, afraid of the dark, see you tomorrow. Sun says, I'm the beginning and the end. Sun says, without me you're nothing. So obvious. You should be happy, sun says. I don't talk to everyone. I smile, say, yeah, I'm happy. Another day starts and another day ends, and I tell my secrets to the stars. Every city is its food. Chicago, hot dogs. Los Angeles, tacos. Cincinnati, chili. San Francisco, burritos. New York, pizza. American cities, you eat standing up. Easy, quick meals, couple bucks and you're gone. American people, you fuck standing up. Easy, quick deals, a couple sucks and you're gone. In Paris, every meal has slow, multiple courses. Gotta love Paris. Woo! This is called Geraldine. At the barbecue out in Sonoma, it's raining, but Geraldine and I still stand outside under a giant oak tree that deflects some of the drops. Her words are like raindrops, steadily pattering, unleashing a storm of thunderous thoughts. The guy who lives here, Robin, he paints. He asks me what I think of his work. And I have to tell him, man, it's not happening anymore. You paint bouquets of flowers and not very unusual flowers. It's not relevant. She tells me she recently exhibited her photographs in an LA car wash without the owner's permission. After 2 days, more than half of the work had been stolen. It was great. People who would never go into a gallery were seeing art on the wall of a car wash, and they took it. Art for the people. She's married to a guy who owns a gallery with 2 other people. I keep trying to tell them that the things they are exhibiting are no longer relevant, that they need to understand what art for the people is about, but they won't listen to me. I'm much younger than them. They think, what do I know? She sips a glass of white wine slowly. I mean, if there is no relevance to modern society, if you are locked up in the style and look of the past, then you are nothing but retread. Then you are nothing, not paving new ground. You are not contributing to culture, only to your pocketbook. She later confides she took 2 hits of acid less than an hour before we met. It isn't an apology. I don't even think it's relevant. All right, since I've been pegged and unveiled as a Californian originally, this is a poem about a great guitar player, Carlos Guitarlos. And it's called Blues and Diabetes Don't Mix. Halfway out of the womb, I blinked blood back and saw a piece of paper covered with odd symbols. Between thrusts, my mother cooed, "This is your set list, baby. You start at the top here, then just perform the songs in order." Order sounded bad. I tried to pull back. Too late. "Push!" screamed the doctor, and she pushed and he slapped, and they got me on stage singing Crying 2, C sharp, Light Blind. I couldn't see anything, but the songs on my list and the easily placated faces of fans in the front row sang every word with me, feverishly applauding precision. It was an easy gig and paid well. But halfway through the set, the house lights flashed, revealing complete chaos in the rest of the arena. Order is the charade of the blind in the light. I ran to the dark where anything can happen. ran to an LA basement club where the dark was named Top Jimmy and the Rhythm Pigs. And the set list didn't matter past the first song, but the music did. Falling apart, then soaring like life without promise, beyond ability. Carlos keeps it all together, Bonnie said, and nobody notices because nobody likes Carlos. He's too real. I introduced myself drunk after a rugged show in a Laguna Beach jazz club. 10 minutes later, we were making out in the parking lot, and the next day my mother got nervous because someone named Carlos keeps calling. He stutters. Who is he? I shrugged. One night, I went to his apartment. Carlos sat at a small table stammering on the phone, his electric blue guitar in his lap. The TV was on, the radio was on, the sun was setting. He gave me a beer and we just sat there for a while not knowing what to talk about. I said, play one of your songs. He reached under the table and pulled out a foot-high stack of handwritten sheet music. After 3 hours, I left him still playing, promising to see him the next week at his gig. I didn't make the gig. At 3 a.m. that night, my father picked up the phone to hear, Kathy and the rest of the Georges family can go to hell. Must have been Carlos, I figured. Guilt. I got a job, stopped going out, then moved north to San Francisco looking for kicks after years of boredom in Southern California. So did Carlos! He wanted to be near his daughter. Our paths crossed again, this time at a bar south of Market where he led a jam session on Sundays. The first break he tells me, I almost died last year. Diabetes. Put me in the hospital for 6 weeks. You want to go out tonight? Give me your phone number. He started a band, got some gigs, started drinking, started screaming at the blue light on Geary, fired his band on stage mid-set. The next song hired him back again. The next show fired them again. The diabetes kicked in. He almost died again. No one visited him in the hospital. No one knew where he was for a while. Then he was back with a Tuesday night jam session at Haino's, a little bar in an alley near 5th. First time I showed up, Top Jimmy rolled on stage. The drummer got pissed at something he said and left with the drums. Someone else pulled out a set of drumsticks and started beating a box. And then 10 people were playing, and the madness flew sideways, and the bartender even looked happy, and nobody noticed Carlos held it all together. But then it was over again. 3 weeks later, the bartender smirked, Carlos, we fired his ass. He should know by now blues and diabetes don't mix. Time disappeared, a year or 3 passed. People died, among them 3 R&B legends, Sax Man Lee Allen, Rhythm Pig Guilty, and finally, sadly, the great belter Top Jimmy. All of them held court with Carlos back when the sweat poured of Blue Mondays on the Café de Grand. No one said Carlos was dead, so I figured. Then again, no one had seen him around. He was gone, life went on, something missing, unknown. Then, one fine day, out of the blues, Carlos reappeared on 6th Street, guitar case in hand. He said something dirty to make me feel young, then bragged and cut time without taking a breath. I just made $45 in less than 2 hours playing outside the BART station. I'm never playing in a bar again. You get a gig at a club, you get $250, but you got to split it 4 or 5 ways. You got to play 3 sets for 6 hours. Then breathing all that cigarette smoke, you end up spending most of what you make at the bar. On Market Street, you sit outside in the sun, and when you're ready to stop, you just pack your stuff and go home. Now he plays nights on 11th Street, sitting on his amp. People gather on the sidewalk, watching in awe. Nobody knows what it takes to hold it all together.